Reading out of the book of 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. I'm going to start at verse 2, and it says, "For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night." Verse 3, "For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction come up upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape." First, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai, Bashem, Rukakadash. Double honor to the mighty men, the elders, and the apostles in the community, waking up the lost sheep of the house of Israel in these last days. Peace and blessings to everyone doing this truth in humbleness and sincerity. Again, I'm going to say Shalom. This is your brother Yasai coming out with another video. And I have a series of videos. So for YouTube, we're going to start off, of course, with the copyright disclaimer. So let's run that real quick. Fair use disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purpose such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by a copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. The copyright laws of the United States recognize a fair use of copyrighted content. Section 107 of the United States Copyright Act states, notwithstanding provisions of sections 106 and 106A, the fair use of the copyrighted work includes such use by reproduction, copies, phono records, or by any other means specified by that section for purpose such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teachings, scholarship, research, is not an infringement of copyright. Copyright disclaimer, fair use. Okay. So we have this ceasefire debacle, and the war has resumed. I mean, let's just be realistic, family. The war never stopped. There was never a ceasefire because prior to this resume of attacks on Iran, the Israelis were bombing Lebanon throughout the so-called peace talks. So the whole damn thing was a lie. There was never a peace deal. And because the Israelis continued to violate, the guidelines that Iran set up, that was the precursor to where we at now. So the first video clip, we're going to start off with the famous YouTuber Ben Mealy Silas from the Midas Touch. We're going to run his video. It's only 4 minutes. So let's start with the breaking news from the Midas Touch.
It's breaking loose as the Trump regime renewed military operations against Iran, striking hard on coastal cities in the Strait of Hormuz. Iran responded by attacking 85 sites linked to the United States military in Bahrain and in Kuwait. Massive Iranian ballistic missile strikes and drone strikes in Bahrain and Kuwait was taking place for many, many hours. Folks, the memorandum of understanding, which already was basically non-existent, has been torn to shreds. And earlier yesterday, as you know, the Trump regime revoked the general license for Iran to sell its crude outside of Iran, which again is a violation of the MOU. And Iran has vowed that they are going to continue to strike back with vengeance. And they have also threatened, although they haven't officially confirmed this, but there are some hardline voices saying, fully shut down the Strait of Hormuz. Again, we'll wait to see this morning into this afternoon what is happening there. In the meantime, the funeral processions for Ayatollah Khamenei It's now taking place in Iraq, and there are massive, massive crowds in Iraq, in the city of Najaf, filled with crowds of mourners. I'll get to that in a moment. Donald Trump is panicking. Donald Trump is posting boom. He's posting cartoon graphics of the word boom. And then someone says, I voted for this. You voted for boom? You voted for destroying the United States economy, causing inflation to surge, making sure people can't afford anything in the United States, can't afford rent, can't afford their mortgage, can't afford groceries. Gas prices are going to be rising again. And also, pay very close attention to what's going on right now in China, because China's working with its so-called teapot refineries in order to gobble up a lot of the demand of crude on the market, to also cause the prices to supply by taking the supply off the market and causing the prices to rise by taking the supply off the market. I'm paying attention to what China is doing right now, as well as Iran is shutting down the Oman lane and probably the Strait of Hormuz. So Donald Trump is also continuing to, while Donald Trump is in NATO, while Donald Trump has made this deranged decision with Rubio, with Besant, with Hegseth. By the way, where's J.D. Vance? Like, where is this guy? Where is J.J.? Nowhere to be found. Donald Trump restarting war operations against Iran. He's just posting images of war right now on his social media platform. On Truth Social, Donald Trump is posting breaking massive strikes against Iran. Eyal Jacobi, he's reposting that. Then Donald Trump is posting these videos. And if you want to see the videos that he's posting, it's the United States striking coastal cities of Iran. You can hear little girls in the background screaming for their lives. I'll just play one of these clips right here. Let's play it.
خیلی وحشتناک بود. بندر عباس یا ابوالفضل دوباره جنگ شد.
Okay, so there's that, and there's another video from this is CBS. It says war with Iran, and it's going to give more detail where this war is going.
It's new strikes inside Iran, marking the second straight night of fighting and the worst escalation since talks began to end this war. President Trump escalating his rhetoric as well, declaring the ceasefire over and describing Iranian leadership as sick, dishonorable, and cuckoo. Tonight's targets are on top of more than 80 strikes last night, and they are aimed at punishing Iran for its own attacks against commercial ships in the Strait of Hormuz, that choke point for the global economy. CBS News White House and political correspondent Ed O'Keefe is traveling with the president in Ankara, Turkey, and joins us now. Ed, good evening. What more do we know?
Tony, the president said today that even though the ceasefire is over, the nuclear talks between the two countries can continue. But with each side trading airstrikes and insults, it's pretty difficult to understand the way forward.
They're scum. And so we don't like them. I don't like them.
President Trump unleashed on Iran for attacking 3 commercial tankers in the Strait of Hormuz this week.
They're liars, they're cheats, they're sick people.
Just last month, Trump called Iran's leaders very rational people. But tonight, he's ordered more airstrikes along the Strait of Hormuz, which follows a heavy bombing campaign Tuesday night, when U.S. forces hit about 80 targets inside Iran, including its main naval base and dozens of small boats. Iran says it responded by firing missiles and drones at 85 military targets inside Bahrain and Kuwait. The volleys, the most significant since the U.S. and Iran signed a memo of understanding about 3 weeks ago. But the president said Iran's actions have killed the deal.
There's something wrong with them. They're cuckoo. As far as I'm concerned, it's over.
Oil prices spiked on that news. Part of the reason why by the end of today, the president was trying to turn down the temperature.
I think anything that happens is going to be over very quickly, and will only make it safer, including for oil.
Also at the NATO summit, the president met with Volodymyr Zelensky and announced plans to let Ukraine start building Patriot missiles. But he also broached a three-way meeting with Russia's Vladimir Putin.
I don't know that he'd go to Moscow. Maybe he would. Would you go to Moscow?
It's difficult. There are a lot of Ukrainian drones there.
I was talking to a friend of mine I met recently online that's in the knowledge of the truth, and I was explaining, we're not out of here just yet, Israel, because for us to know it's close, we need these troops. We need, like the Lord tells us in Joel 3, we need the Lord to send troops into that valley by the thousands. It's not official yet, so it's still a buildup, okay? It's still a buildup. And on top of this war with Iran, and that's how you know it's the end of this hegemony. We're at least maybe 5, 6, 7 days. I'm gonna say, let me see, the 4th was Saturday, so Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Maybe 6 days post the 4th of July, okay? It's only a matter of season before the Mossad completely destroys America. Because history shows us any kingdom that makes it beyond that 250 point, that's the end of that kingdom. And America is definitely next to be destroyed, okay? But on top of that war, you have Ukraine, Russia, that's only heating up. And again, I'm going to keep saying this until it manifests. Russia's going to bomb Europe very soon. They're going to start to hit these NATO countries. Got a 3-minute clip.
Russia has hammered Ukraine capital and second largest city as Ukraine's allies huddle in Ankara for the NATO summit. Ukraine's Air Force said Russia fired 169 long-range strike drones and 7 missiles, including 5 ballistics, at the country on Tuesday night. A Russian attack on Ukraine's capital Kyiv killed a woman and injured 2 more people, according to city administration head Timur Takhanchenko. Ukraine's State Emergency Service said the attack damaged several administrative buildings and warehouses, as well as a garage complex and several city trams. Air defenses shot down or jammed 139 drones, and 2 anti-radar missiles didn't reach their targets. All 5 ballistic missiles and 20 drones inflicted damage at 15 locations, reports said. Ukraine's advances in drone technology have given it an edge in recent months, analysts and Western officials said. But Russia now is exploiting vulnerabilities in Ukraine's air defenses, which remain heavily reliant on the Patriot missile systems from the U.S. to intercept ballistic missiles it can rarely shoot down. Meanwhile, at least 2 people were killed and up to 29 injured after Russian missile strikes hit a residential area in Kharkiv, according to local authorities. Ukrainian police worked at the site of the attack, where one of the victims' bodies was found amid the damage caused by the overnight strike.
My apartment block was hit. I don't even know what hit it. Everything damaged, windows blown out. I'm sorry, I can't find my cat.
Russia says it has dealt another major blow to Ukraine's battlefield capabilities. Moscow claims its forces have struck dozens of drone control centers, destroyed ammunition depots, and knocked out a Starlink satellite communication station, while intensifying offensive operations along the front line. The latest claims come as fighting continues to escalate in eastern Ukraine and along the border regions. According to Russia's Battle Group West, its troops eliminated 2 field ammunition depots, 46 Ukrainian UAV control centers, and a Starlink satellite communication station over the past 24 hours. Battle Group spokesman Ivan Bigma also said Russian air defense units intercepted 29 fixed-wing drones, 65 heavy quadcopters, 1 guided air-launched munition, and 3 loitering munitions. The Russian claims have not been independently verified. Moscow says the strikes are part of a broader effort to weaken Ukraine's drone operations, which have played a key role in reconnaissance and attacks on Russian positions throughout the conflict.
Okay, so you have that, right? You just have wars and rumors of war. Let's get the classic in Matthew 24 real quick, because it's just heating up. But there's another thing I want to show. Copyright declared on these videos, right? Let's get Matthew 24. Let's go to the old classic, and we're gonna go to Matthew's. Excuse me. We're gonna go to Matthew 24, and we're gonna start at verse 5 for just old time's sake. Matthew 24 and 5, and it says, "For many shall come in my name, saying I am Christ, and shall deceive many." That's your papacy, your Catholic Church, okay? That's racism, white supremacy, and their Christianity dogma, a bunch of nonsense. That's still being taught, okay? Verse 6, it says, "And you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet." But the end is getting very close, right? Verse 7, it says, "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there should be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in divers places. All these are the beginnings of sorrows." Let's go back to verse 7, because I'm going to go into some video, very short video, copyright declared. Yo, family, in New York City, there's a plague on top of the buildings. And the media, I'm going to tell y'all, the media is lying about this famine that's hit New York City, allegedly on the east side. I don't believe that's just the east side. I think that's all the city and the boroughs. They lying. And this is hard evidence that the Lord is about to save and deliver the 12 tribes of the children of Israel, the elect scattered abroad, scattered among the heathen. Okay? They telling you on this report that it's just some type of disease on the east side. Do y'all believe that? I wouldn't believe a lie, a blatant lie. And it's coming from Amalek's controlled media. So let's run this clip.
Officials say testing has uncovered dozens of buildings on the Upper East Side with traces of the bacteria that causes Legionnaire's disease. Some of them are likely the cause of that current outbreak. The city tells us that officials will release a list of addresses of other locations in the coming days. Eyewitness News reporter Kimberly Richardson live outside one of the buildings on 3rd Avenue that has tested positive for this bacteria. Kimberly?
Mike, this is that building at the corner of 85th and 3rd Avenue here in the affected area. A short time ago, we did cross paths with a team from Gotham Water. They were here. They drained the cooling tower. They cleaned it from top to bottom and tested the water. Now they wait for the results.
It's not very comforting to know that there's something nearby that could be dangerous.
Here near Stephen's home, where we spotted a team of water treatment specialists working at a building that has what the city is calling, quote, a cooling tower of interest. This is part of that system at 1511 3rd Avenue. Testing began July 2nd after officials identified an outbreak of Legionnaire's disease in 3 zip codes on the Upper East Side. The health department tells Eyewitness News the initial PCR test at this commercial building at the corner of East 85th Street came back positive for Legionella bacteria, adding it's not clear if it's active or an environmental contaminant.
I use Equinox over here, so that could be a little bit of a problem. I was there the other day.
The health department ordered the building owner to immediately remediate, drain, clean, and disinfect the cooling tower. This team tells me they were here doing just that, along with carrying out new mandatory monthly testing, something we first told you about in May at a cooling tower in East Harlem that was part of another outbreak last summer. Then 7 people died and more than 100 got sick from Legionnaires. The bacteria is spread in mist from cooling towers, in water droplets outside. Experts stress not inside buildings.
They should publish the addresses, though. Are they going to?
Mayor Mondani vowed to be transparent, but still no list, with 36 confirmed cases, of which 22 are in the hospital. Testing is nearly complete, but some critics say it's taking too long.
What are we waiting for? We're going to wait for more people to get sick and potentially die?
And some of those in the hospital right now are in critical condition. Along with monthly checks of these cooling towers here in the 5 boroughs, weekly testing is also carried out. The team here at this building says all the tests are coming back negative, but the health department says that's most likely because they're using tests that aren't as sensitive as theirs. We should learn much more sometime tomorrow. For now, we're live on the Upper East Side. Kimberly Richardson, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Okay, y'all see that? And it's not just New York. Y'all honestly believe that's hitting just New York City? Aside from New York skyline, which is one of the biggest in America, you have Chicago. What about Chicago? What about Seattle? Okay. Another city that has massive skylines. Houston, Texas. Okay. Los Angeles. You have to consider all these cities within the 50 states that have this condition going on, while the media is telling you it's only New York. Do you guys really believe that? I'm telling y'all they're lying, and it's the Lord judging this place. Okay, let's get the book. Let's read real quick. Let's read Exodus. This is why the Lord is judging this place, because these racism, white supremacists, and their Sundown America and their Sundown government continue to hold us brown folks, the Israelites, hostage. Okay. Let's read the classic in Exodus 21:16. It'll be a short video. I'm not going to make this long. I have some work I need to do. I have to make this video, among other things. Okay. Shalom to the children of Israel, the 12 tribes, the children of Israel scattered abroad. Shalom, shalom. Okay. Remember, it's racism, white supremacy. Excuse me. It's racism, white supremacy that's holding people of color hostage, primarily the children of Israel. Okay, and they're going to pay for that, and they're paying now. So the Lord is continuing to visit this earth. Okay. Here we go. Exodus chapter 21. And we're going to read verse 16. Exodus 21:16 says, "And he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hands, he shall surely be put to death." And the entire time from Jamestown, Virginia, okay, that Virginia, where they made this social construct, that Virginia, let's put up our favorite little meme. You know, what they call brown people black, and so-called white people white. And again, they're not white just based on the grid. Let's look at it again. There's no such thing as black people, and there's no such thing as white people. And I'm going to always share this on the channel. Okay? But for the children of Israel, our time is getting closer and closer. Right? But regarding this war, the troops have not truly assembled yet. So we have to endure a while longer, right? But America is being broken. Let's read Exodus 21:16 again, right? Let's read it one more time. Because it's the children of Edom that's holding us hostage and continue to afflict God's chosen people. Let's read again. Exodus 21:16, it says, and he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hands, he shall surely be put to death. Remember, I should have brought that out in my last video. They scattered us to the four corners of the earth. Okay, the four winds of the earth. You know, wherever humanity dwelled, the Israelites were put among the nations. Okay, I said this last week. I'm gonna say it again. When you go into the Ezekiel accounts, chiefly Ezekiel 20:34, it's about 38. The Lord's going to take the children of Israel among the people. Okay, so there is no spiritual Israelite. There is no spiritual Israel. The elect Israelites will be delivered into the wilderness, into Zion afterwards. Okay, because some Israelites won't make it when you read Ezekiel 20 and 38. This is setting up. Let's get Joel 3. And I'm pleading with the Israelites to pay very close attention to this war front as things continue to heat up. And these plagues, okay? Last week, New York, New Jersey, this region was pummeled. It was rocked by torrential weather. Reports of small tornadoes in Hudson Valley, Brooklyn, okay, South Jersey, mass flooding. This is all the Most High judging this wicked kingdom, man. Okay. Joel 3:1. But this is what we're praying for. And this is what we have to keep close eye for. Especially if you're in the knowledge of this truth. You want to keep close eye on this war. Especially if they begin to dispatch thousands of troops. The rumors going on right now is that they're going to Carg Island. But it's only a rumor. It's not manifest yet. Joel 3:1. Okay? It says this. For behold, in those days, in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. Okay? So when these troops gather in this land, that should do it, family. But I don't know how many seasons it's going to take for us to live to see that. Okay? As I say often on my channel, if not this season, the following season, or the following season, or the following season. Because I don't know the day or the hour of the coming of the Mashiach. Okay? But this war starting, gas prices up. Okay? I made a run to Target. That was Thursday night. Empty shelves. It's back, family. Because that's the Lord destroying America. But one last segment. The violence. I'm going to hit y'all something. If y'all look at one of the most violent places in America, it's the state of New York. Because if you guys remember, during COVID-19, most of the police department, chiefly New York City, the policemen quit because of a condition, okay? Because they didn't want to deal with Maxine and Vanessa. Y'all know what I'm talking about. They didn't get down with that program, so they lost so many cops. Violence has spiked, okay? New York City is like one of the most violent places in the world now. But it's so bad, it's scattered throughout the state of New York. Look it up. New York City has turned into a violent domain. And that's the Lord judging this place. Let's just get a few out of Genesis 6 as a reminder, and I'm gonna end this video. But the day of the Lord, my apologies. The day of the Lord is much sooner than we think. Okay? That's the damn plantation calling me for overtime. I'm not working on the Sabbath. They could kick bricks. Sorry about that. Genesis 6, quick reminder. Okay? The time is near. The time is near, family. We gotta watch this build up. We gotta watch this build up continue. Okay? Let's get Genesis 6. I'm going to try to run through this real quick. Quick reminder, Genesis 6:1. It says, and it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them. Okay, that the sons of God saw that the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they looked, and they took them wives of all which they choose. This is going to intermingling. Okay. In the ancient world, there were rules on concubines and stuff like that. But in the end of the world, which we're in, the Lord warns us in Isaiah 13:13, everyone that's found going to be thrust through. I don't suggest dating heathen women. You're not going to hear that come from my platform. Although I'm hearing that come out more and more on certain channels. I don't suggest that. If it's the end of the world, great famines, pestilence, disease, war, this economic fall, you got to be careful, family. Okay? Genesis 6. Let me get one from the top. It says, and it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, just dealing with the nations, that they were fair, and took them wives, all which they chose. They were intermingling. This is a violation of the law. There's the famous Deuteronomy account and other laws that tell us not to get involved with these nations, especially Edom, because they don't have the interest at heart. Okay? Verse 3, it says, and the Lord said, my spirit should not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. Okay? And in that time, men were mighty. Okay? All men, this even includes the sons of God, they were big people. Okay? All right? It says, verse 4, this is where Edom twists the scriptures up. It says, there were giants on the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came unto the daughters of men, they bare children unto them. Okay, they were having sex with the Gentile nations. And the same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. Okay, and the giants just simply mean the people of big stature. That's not literal. Okay, anyone subscribing to that Sifa, man, throw that book away. It's trash. Okay, and when you go into the history of the people that set up the Sifa, that's Edom. You got a bunch of books in there that makes no sense. Okay, and they're a broken version of Enoch. That's not the real account. I have a Sifa and I don't subscribe to it. Israelites dealing with that Sifa, throw it away, because it's not a legitimate book. Okay, we're gonna get to the point. Verse 5. And the Most High saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And that's the era we in now. It's pretty bad. Okay, let's read on. Check this out. It says, and this is verse 6, it says, and it repented the Most High that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. Okay. And this is the judgment, but this is the first judgment. It was water. It says, and the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and the creeping thing and the fowls of the air, for it repented me that I have made them. So the Lord was angry because of what sins and transgressions, chiefly from the sons of God. Okay, let me read that again. It says, and the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air, for it repented me. For it repented me that I have made them. Okay, then it goes into Noah. It says, but Noah found grace into the eyes of the Lord. Because when you go into the study of Noah and his family, it was Noah, his wife, and their families. Family survived, but everyone else drowned. Okay, let me see if there's any more meat here on this bone. Okay, let's read on a little bit. Okay, it says, Verse 8, it says, but Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man, just meaning he kept the law. Okay, Christianity, witchcraft Christianity says you have to keep the law. This oracle warns all the way to the end. You have to keep the law. Okay. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man and perfect in his generation, and Noah walked with God. Again, this is going to Noah keeping the laws. Okay. And Noah begot 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Okay. And that's significant because the Israelites come from Shem. Ham is the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negro. And, Japheth, they too progenitors of brown people, for argument's sake, but they're not the Israelites. The Israelites came out of Shem. You can also read that in Genesis 10. Right? Okay. Let's read Genesis 6 and verse 13. It says, and the Most High said unto Noah, the end of all flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence to them, and behold, I will destroy them with the earth. And this is going into the great flood, because it's not just violent, it's very corrupt. Okay. And a lot of us feeling this thing dealing with that broken court system. Okay. That's the most corrupt thing in the world. I'm not going to get into details because, it's been a long, annoying thing, litigating, trial, post-trial, different proceedings, okay? That stuff's controlled by the devil. And the only true salvation we're getting is on the day of the Lord, okay? And that's what I'm praying for, okay? I'm going to read this again. Genesis 6 and verse 13. It says, and God said unto Noah, the end of all flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them, and behold, I will destroy them with the earth. Okay? So remember, the great flood came when you read the latter verses. Let's get 2 Peter 3, and we're going to end it there. Okay? These days are back, and just stay up on the news as that war front escalates. Gas prices, all these things. The continual fall of this United States economy. You got to keep a close eye on what's happening right now. Okay. Let's get 2 Peter 3. Let's go back to Genesis and a reminder of the fire that's going to destroy this place. Okay. 2 Peter chapter 3. And verse 5. Check this out. We're going to end it. It says, for this they willingly are ignorant by the word of the Most High. The heavens were of old, and the earth standing out of the water and in the water. We just read the flood. That's what this is talking about. Okay. Verse 6, it says, whereby the world that then was being overflowed with water perished. But the heavens and the earth, which are now by the same word. So this is proof. The prophecies that happened in Genesis 6 happened. And the prophecies in the latter end of the oracle, it's about to happen. Okay, let's read on. It says, but the heavens and the earth, which are now by the same words, are kept in store, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men. And we live in the ungodly era. Okay? The United States government, before we go, I said this and I'm going to say it again. America can't save people of color. Okay? Edom can't save Edom. The Lord, there's a Deuteronomy account. The curses are poured upon them now. And it's showing. I mean, America's done. Okay? Racism, white supremacy is exposed. And again, they can't save us. Now the Lord is setting the stage to destroy them. You see the famine in New York City. That's not just the east side. That's probably many cities. They're just not being honest. And they started this war, Russia-Ukraine only intensifying, and a lot of rumors they're going to hit European nations, but we going to see. But the bottom line is this: the Lord shutting it down, y'all. All praise to the Most High. Let's close out. 2 Peter 3 and verse 6 from the top. It says, whereby the world that then was being overflowed with water perished. Okay, verse 7 again, but the heavens and the earth, which are now by the same word, are kept in store, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment, against perdition of ungodly men. Okay. Let's jump down to 10. We're going to here. It says, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. That's from nuclear missiles. Okay, that's from ICBM thermonuclear missiles. That's what's going to rock the foundation of the United States, because from New York, Chicago, Seattle, Cali, the Lord's going to send great judgment. That's also recorded in Isaiah 24, okay? Isaiah 13, okay? Isaiah 30, Jeremiah 50 and verse 9 on down. It's over. It's going to be over very soon for America. And when that happens, the elect's going to be delivered up with the chariots. And those that's not found written in the Lamb's Book of Life, they're going to perish forever. Okay? 2 Peter 3 and 10, it says, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. Verse 11, seeing that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of person are you to be in a holy conversation and godliness, looking for and hastening unto the coming of the day of the Lord, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Nevertheless, we according to his promise look for new heavens and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness. By Shema Mashiach Yahushai. With that, I'm going to give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh by Shem Yahushai. Double honors to the mighty men, the elders, and the apostles in the community, waking up the lost sheep, the house of Israel in these last days. Peace and blessings to everyone doing this truth and humbleness and sincerity. Israel, I love y'all. We got next. Shalom, family.